Hello, good afternoon. Okay, we will start in 5 minutes. Okay? Bati on lang ko, class. Bati on lang.
Good afternoon.
Bati on ko, class.
Accessible, ma'am.
Nari.
Thank you,
Hello.
ma'am.
Mama po.
Bati on ko, class. Good afternoon. Bati on ko.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sige. Wait lang gida. We will do that.
Ma'am. Ma'am. Flash.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Feedback.
Okay, so once again, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Okay, so let us now start. Ito pang mute ko. Okay, kindly mute now your um, microphone. Okay, kindly mute na ng microphone ta. Okay, so for this afternoon, we are going to discuss social bond theories or social control theories. Okay, so since we only have 40 minutes, so we will discuss, kung di ito mag-stop karon, we will continue it. I'm going to create another meeting, okay? And you enter na lang again. So, the reason nga gin-try din ni siya Dana, it's because so that we can record the discussion and those classmates ninyo nga mga wala nag-join, we can send the discussion to them man. Okay? Because sa Google Class, hindi kita ka-record. But I do hope next time mag-Google Class kita, one of you can record the discussion so that makahelp man sa inyong classmates. But of course, wala man na ginapilit or gina-require because I know it's hard for you as well. But if possible lang, okay? So, last time we have discussed different social learning theories in criminology, right? So we started with a differential association theory of Edwin Sutherland. So what are our takeaways? Ano mga importante nga mga points sa differential association theory ni Edwin Sutherland? So just a sort of review lang. So according to Edwin Sutherland, according to his study, criminal behavior can be learned through communication and interaction with other people. What do you learn out of this communication and interaction? The definitions or the reason or justifications as to why you are going to commit the crime or as to why they commit the crime. Okay, so that is differential association theory. Criminal behavior can Okay, criminal behavior is learned according to differential association. Through what? To association with other people, through interaction and communication. Another one, a differential association also have stated 9 important points. Okay, 9 important points or 9 important statements by Edwin Sutherland as to what are the reason for people or what are the reasons why people commit crime or what triggers people to commit the crime. So I hope you have reviewed that one. Okay, so we're gonna review na lang subong before we start with our new lesson. Also, um, another one is the after the death of Edwin Sutherland, there are a lot of revisions sa differential association, right? We have the differential identification by Daniel Glasser. Okay, the very idea of differential identification, okay, from the title gani identification, gina-identify mo ang imo self as that person. Okay, so whatever it is, or you identify yourself as that person, you wanted to follow that person, you wanted to please that person. So whatever ang ginset nga standard, ang ginset nga um, example sa ina nga taho, you follow it. Okay? So that is differential identification. So it is about people commit crime because they have the wrong idols. Okay? They have the wrong people as they set as examples or wrong people na gina-identify nila ang ila self with. Okay? So imagine having a serial killer as your idol. Okay? So that is one example of differential identification. Okay, you identify yourself as that person, you wanted to please that person, you wanted to follow that person. Okay? Next, we have the social learning theory by Ronald Aker, wherein Akers have stated 4 different means on how people can learn. Okay? So we have differential association. Okay? That is the same with the differential association, again explained ni Edwin Sutherland. We also have differential reinforcement that we can learn when our actions is either rewarded or punished. Okay, so the same way we can learn criminal behavior. And we have definitions. Okay, so we learn definitions, justifications as to why people commit crime. Okay, the reasons as to why they commit crime, and we tend to follow it upon learning it, or upon learning it we try to apply it with our own situation. That is why some people turn into being a criminal. And what is the last aside from imitation? Okay, and the last is imitation. Okay, so we learn man hambal ni Ronald Aker through imitation, through following the actions of those people that we come into contact with, that we socialize with. So 4 means on how people can learn criminal behavior according to Ronald Aker: differential association, differential reinforcement, definitions, and imitation. Okay? So let us now go to our topic for today, which is social bond and control theories. Can you see my screen? Kita na lang akong screen, class?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, so sige.
Ma'am.
Let us
Yes,
continue
ma'am.
our discussion. Okay, so let us now start our discussion. Uy, nakalimutan ko na lang. Okay, so our lesson for this afternoon naman is about social bond and control theories in criminology. Okay, so meaning this social bond and control theories explains why people commit crime and why there are criminalities, okay, in our society. or why there is criminality in our society. So, wala na siya nag-iyo. Okay, so class, actually social bond theory is very different from all the other theories in criminology. Okay? Mostly of the theorista, mostly of our theories in criminology, it explains, 'di ba, sa aton nga nag-commit ang taho sang crime tungod because of poverty, or nag-commit ang taho sang crime because of learning it from other people, 'di ba? Do ka direct nga pag-explain nga ang taho nag-commit sang crime because of this negative experience, okay? Usually that is how the common way of explaining criminality sa in mostly of the theories naton sa criminology. But social bond theory class is different. Okay? Rather than trying to determine why some people deviate from social and legal norms, okay, so when we say deviate from social and legal norms, ba lang wala siya nag-follow, okay, sa norms ng society, sa standards, sa ginahambal nga dapat sundon sa society. Okay? Okay, so in short, instead of asking nga nagakriminal ang mga tao, ang ginaubrayan ni social bond, it asks this question: why does anyone conform? Why don't we all violate the law or the rules? Okay? So ang question ni social bond is not nga siya nangin kriminal. Okay? Ang pamangkot ni social bond ang suli. Nga ang mga tao nagapati. Nga may mga tao nga nagakonform sa social norms. Okay? So that is how different it is with the other theories sa criminology. Okay? In control theories, this question has never been adequately answered. The question remains, why do men obey rules of society? Defiance is taken for granted. Conformity must be explained. So Travis Hershey is one of the proponent of social bond theory. Okay? And this is his statement. Okay? Hambalya, di amo ni dapat ang sabton nga pamangkot nga ang mga tao naga-obey sa rules ng society. Ano ang nagatulod sa ila nga mag-obey sa rules ng society? Because social bond theories class, ang mga theorista under social bond, nagapati ni sila na ang mga tao kung pagustuhan, makumit lang gid niya sang krimen. Meaning, natural lang nga nagakumit sang krimen kuno ang mga tao. Hindi to na dapat pangitaan sang rason kay natural lang na sa tao. Ang pangitaan kaya kuno dapat sang rason is nga nagasunod ang mga tao sa law. Kay amo na iya ang hindi natural. Okay? So this is the question na ginapamangkot ni social bond. Okay? Why is it that people follow the law? Okay? Why is it that people conform? Okay? It is conformity. Ang pag-conform sa tao, ang pag-follow, ang muna dapat ang tagaan sa explanation. Okay? So the answer offered by control theory is that we conform because social controls prevent us from committing crime. So this is actually the common answer dire. Okay? Naga-follow kita tungod ng mga social control kita sa aton nga palibot. We will learn later kung ano ni ang mga social controls. Okay? Theories under this focus on strategies and techniques which help regulate human behavior, thus led to conformity and compliance of the rules of society. Okay? Please, sa nag-on sang mic, please turn off ang imong mic. Okay? Please, tanawa kung naka-on or off ang mic mo, and then kung naka-on, palihog ko turn off. Okay? Kaya create some background nga noise. Ga-distract sa iban. Okay. So class, I hope you understand what is the main goal of social bond and control theories. Okay? So again, it is to ask the question, nga ang mga tao nagapati, nagakonform, nagafollow sang aton nga law. Okay? So now, I have this question sa inyo. If this is the question nga gusto sabton ni social bond and control theories, paano tani siya magamit as a theory to criminality? Kay ginatan-aw yo kung paano mangin buot ang isa ka taho, paano nga ga-follow man ni naging law abiding na ini nga taho. Wala siya ga pangita sang sabat kung nga nangin kriminal ang isa ka tawo. Now, how do we use this theory or nga aari ni sana classify under sa criminological theory? What do you think is the answer or what is the logic behind this? may ara ka mo any reason? Any ideas kung aayhan yung butang si social control as a criminological theory? Because wala man sa gasabat isang pamangkot kung nagkriminal ang tao. Ang ginapangayo iya nga sabat nga naga-follow ang tao sa rules. Does any one of
Ma'am,
you? Yes, Adeline?
kay para ma'am nga makontrol bala nila ang behavior sa mga tao nga makakumit sang crime. Kay kung may rules ma'am pag punishment, yang tao doon nahadlok magbuwat sa mga crimes na mga dapat buhaton. So that's why ang tao do ano na lang malang mga kinanlan na lang nila nga sundon kaysa naman maparusahan sila sa pag-incident.
Okay. So ang gina-explain ni Evelyn is aside of the social bond or ang gina-offer nga tawag ni nga solusyon ni social bond on how to stop criminality. Okay, it is through having control. Okay, so that is correct on that aspect. But okay, so let me explain to you nga ato siya ginagamit as a theory in criminology. Okay? Class, di ba ang ginasabat nga pamangkot ni social bond nga naga-follow ang taho sa law, right? Okay. Once mabalaan mo na class the reason why people follow sa law, okay? The opposite of that, or it will also allow you to look at or see the reason, di ba la? Kung nga wala sila naga-follow, nga kung wala ni gali ang ini nga mga control, please may naga-on naman sang microphone. Kung wala gali ang ini nga mga control, ang taho gali ma-result into crime commission. So that is why this social bond is one of the theories under sa criminology. Because upon identifying nga ay tungod ni gali sa controls nga ara sa palibot ya, tungod gali sa ginikanan niya, tungod gali sa police, tungod gali sa church, those are example of mga controls sa society ta. Tungod gali sa ini nga mga factors, amo naga-follow ang taho sa laws naton. So buot silingon, kwaon mo ang ini nga mga factors, anong matabo? Makumit ang taho sang crime. So that is how we can use social bond as a theory in criminology. Okay? First, it gives us an idea why people follow the rules, the laws in society, and upon identifying those reasons nga naga-follow sila sa rules of society, makit-an man naton dayon nga ay kung kwaon mo ni gali ang ini nga mga pagkabutang sa society, magamo gigali, maobra gigali krimen ang tawo. Okay? So that is the reason why social bond is a theory under criminology. Okay? So that is why we have this statement. Whenever these controls break down or weaken, deviance is likely to result. Kung wala ni ang mga social control sa palibot naton, which are stated under the social bond theory or nakit-an sa social bond theory, deviance will happen in our society. That is according to Rees. Okay? So I hope you understand that. Okay? This theory refers to the assumption that there are no individual variation in motivation to commit crime. The impetus toward crime is uniform or evenly distributed across society. Because si social bond class, wala nagatan-aw kung anong rason nga ang tao nag-commit sang crime. So under the social bond, there is no variation. Okay? Wala sang pagkalain-lain, mga lain-lain nga rason nga ang tao nag-commit sang crime or natulod. Okay? Or what causes them the impetus towards crime commission. But ang ginatanaw lang niya, what makes people follow the rules, the law, in society. Because of this uniform motivation to crime, we will all push up against the rules of society and break through them unless we are controlled. Anong hambal ni social bond? Okay? Tanan kita class. Okay? Tanan kita, we have this uniform motivation. Isa lang tanan ang aton nga motivation when we are going to commit crime or cause ang kagamo sa aton nga society. Okay? And if pasugtan lang, tanan kita, we will all break and do crime. Okay? We will all break and violate the law unless kung may nagakontrol sa aton. Thus, control theories assert their objective is not to explain crime. So remember this, okay? Although social control theory is under criminology, it is a criminological theory. Take note, class. Okay? Nga ang mga control theories ila gidya gina-assert or ila gidya, they make it clear, okay? Ginaklaro gidya nila nga ang purpose sang social control theory is not to explain crime. Okay? They assume that everyone would violate the law if pasugtan lang. Instead, they want to explain why people do not commit crime. Okay, so tanda ilang. Social control theories or social bond theories, isa lang na. Okay, it is also called social control, it is also called social bond. Okay, the purpose of this theory is not to explain crime, but to explain why people do not commit crime. Okay? And again, going back sa ginihambal ko kagina, because upon knowing kung nga ang mga taho wala naga-commit crime kag naga-follow sa law, you will be able to understand nga ay amo ni gali ang rason, amo ni gali mga controls nga nagapugong sa iya sa pag-commit sang crime. But silingon, kwaon mo ang ini nga mga control, tanan nga taho sa kalibutan may makakommit gid sang crime. Okay? So, may kagamugid. Josel Paul, go-on mo nga mic. Please turn it off. So what are the important points under social control theories? Theory under this are interested in learning why people conform to norms. They ask why people, so it's focused on asking why people conform to norms. They ask why people conform in face of so much temptation, peer pressure, and inducement. So class, you will learn here that later, dili niya mahibaluan dason. Okay? Or later on, kung nga ang mga tao, okay, naga-conform sa norms, nga may mga tao nga naga-follow gid sa rules ang aton nga society, despite may mga temptation, despite may mga peer pressure, may mga naga-induce sa ila nga mag-ubra sang krimen. So second important point, believe that there are no controlling forces which makes a person, believes that there are controlling forces that makes a person conform to norms. Thus, they are likely to become criminal when the controlling forces in their lives are defective or absent. Class, statement number 2 is the statement of social bond or control theories as to why there are crimes in our society. Amo lang niya ang sabat ni social bond or social control theories, class. Okay? Kung madula ang mga controlling forces sa kabuhi isang taho sa society, okay? Kung defective ini, may mga problema, hindi amo na ka strong, or it is completely absent, wala gid sang ina nga control sa action sang tawo, people will resort into criminality. People will become criminals. Okay? So that is the statement. This is ang statement number 2, ang pinaka-explanation gid ni social bond as to why there are crimes in our society. Okay? To sum up these important points before kita mag-continue, anong ginahambal sa itong social bond? Okay, ang hambal ni social bond, kung pasugtan lang gid ang taho, maobra gid ya sang krimen. Okay, if allowed, if permitted, people will really commit crime, will violate the norms, the laws sang aton nga society. But anong nagapugong sa ila? Controlling forces. What are these controlling forces? Amo ning i-discuss ta later on. Okay? Now, kung madula ang ini nga mga controlling forces or defective, crime will happen. Okay? Or people will commit crime. What are the controlling forces? Okay? So this refers, so this is another question. Okay? Kagina pa na ginamuno ni Miss ang controlling forces, no, ni mga controlling forces ni man. Okay? This refers to those reasons which controls or dominates the action of a person to do a certain thing or behave a certain way. Okay, what are controlling forces? They are reasons. Tandaan, mga rason. Okay? Mga rason nga naga-control, naga-dominate, okay? Sang aton nga mga actions in order for us to behave that way or in order for us to behave that certain way. Okay? Class, the very I think very common nga example nga makita and very easy example if you're going to explain controlling forces sa isa ka situation nga mas maintindihan. Controlling forces is like a mother. Okay? Do isa ka nanay. Anong ginaobra sa isa ka nanay siya bata? Di ba la? So nagambal siya bata nga hindi mo niya pwede himuon, hindi ka pwede maglagaw. Okay? Hindi ka pwede magwa na kung gabi. Kung may taho gani nga hindi mo kilala, tagaan ka sang dulce kag paupdon ka kung di magkadto, hindi ka magkadto. Okay? Hindi ka maghampang amo ni oras. Imatuon ka dapat. Our mother, ang tanan nagaginahambal ya, they are all controlling forces in order nga ang aton nga behavior, ang aton nga action magsunod sa iya nga gusto. Okay? Because it is believed, okay? And of course, there are our mothers, okay? They know what is or what are best for us. Okay? So with that example, we can cite nga ang aton nga mother, ang iya nga ginahambal, are all controlling forces. And sino ang ginakontrol? Ang imo actions. Okay? Now, put it in a much more bigger class nga pagpaminsan. Okay? In our society, di ba? Mahambal ang pulis, hindi ka pwede mangawat, okay? Or it is stated sa aton nga laws mismo, hindi ka pwede mangawat or with the pandemic kami ara kita subong o social distancing ka mo dapat ha, mamas dapat ha, hindi pwede magpatay, hindi pwede mangbabahi, manglalaki, especially if kasado ka. Those are all controlling forces in our society. Okay? And what power does these controlling forces have? Of course, if you violate it, it will resort into punishment, di ba la? So that's why ginapati mo, tungod na kulbaan ka nga, ipunish ka. Okay, anong kakatabo sa bata nga wala ginasunod yan nanay? Di ba gina? Bakol sang iya nga, ginikanan. The same way man na class with the laws that we have in our society. Okay, kung hindi ka magpati, pwede ka presuhon, pwede ka tagaan sang fine. Okay, penalty. So those are examples of controlling forces. Okay? What are the example? Okay. Rules of so what are some examples? The rules of our society, influences of our family, school, morals, values, and belief. So these are examples of controlling forces. And it does not limit to this class. Kasi magambal ka mo, okay, amo lang na. No, okay? You have there the word etc. Okay? Class, going back to the definition of controlling forces, basta ma-identify mo ang isa ka butang that it controls the actions of an individual. Okay? Amo na nagapugong, nagadominate, nagakontrol sa action sang individual, that is a controlling force. Okay? May mga controlling forces man sa inyo kabuhi. Kasi no, tumiga, gani sang last ang nanugid party to gani sa PFT man. Okay. So class, for this, we will be discussing containment theory, social bond theory, and Sykes and Matz's techniques of neutralization or drift theory. Okay, so do you understand social bond and control theories? Naintindihan?
Wala ano po?
Joven?
Yes, ma'am.
Joven, wala mo naintindihan, Joven?
Ay, joke.
Anong wala naintindihan, Joven?
Ma'am, luwat naman kayo bago na ko salat.
Kadula-dula ka, gagwa-gwa ka?
Oo, ma'am.
Okay, how about the others? Do you have any questions?
Okay lang, ma'am. Intindihan lang man, ma'am. Kaya tagatag ba? Intindihan lang man, ma'am.
Okay, so again, class,
Social bangag, social control.
we are okay, so please turn off your microphone. Okay, so again, class, we are on the social bond theories. Okay, so we are giving you an idea kung anong mga ginatawag na social bond theories before kita magkadto sa mga examples or theory under sa social bond. Okay? Magamba kita social bond theories. It explains why people do not commit crime. Okay? Or it explains why people does not commit crime or why people follow the rules ng aton nga society.
Ma'am, excuse ma'am.
Yes. Yan no.
Nag-warning ang Zoom, ma'am.
Okay na. Okay.
Nag-warning ang Zoom sa kon. Kita mo man, ma'am.
Ah.
Sige, ma'am.
Okay. So, these controlling forces, or going back as to what social bond is. So social bond, again, these are group of theories nga nag-explain as to why people follow the rules and why people do not commit crime. Okay? Now, kung mabalaan mo na, kung nga ang tao wala naga-commit crime, kung nga ang tao naga-follow sa rules, okay? You will be able to understand nga kung kwaon mo gali ang ina nga mga butang nga naga-control sa ila nga hindi mag-ubra sang krimen, it will result into them committing the crime. Going back here sa statement number 2, okay? Social bond believes that there are controlling forces which makes a person conform to the norms. Thus, they are likely to become criminal when the controlling forces in their lives are defective or absent. Hambal ni social bond, may mga controlling forces sa palibot naton. Ano na yung mga controlling forces? Ang pamilya mo, ang church, ang eskwelahan, ang mga values sa ginatudlo sa imo, those are all controlling forces. Okay? Ang rason nga akong wala kita nagaubra sang krimen. Pero kung kwaon mo ang ina nga mga controlling forces, wala ka gid pa eskwela, wala ka gid tunduan sang ginikanan mo sang insyakto, wala ka kabalo sa mga good manners and right conduct dira, okay, absent ina or hindi ina strong, wala ina na-develop sa imo, dako ang posibilidad nga mangin kriminal ang isa ka tawo. Okay? That is why ang title sa ini nga theory, social control theory. Kaya ang ginatan-aw ya ang social controls. Okay? Social, society naton, control, buot silingon ginatan-aw ya ang mga controls nga ara sa aton nga society kag paano ini makapugo nga hindi mag-ubra ang taho sang krimen. Okay? Another name nga tawag sa ini nga theory, social bond theory. Okay? What are these bond? Anong ini nga mga bond? Okay? This refers to your bond sa family mo, bond mo sa imo obra, bond mo sa imo nga mga values, sa imo nga religious belief, kag paano ang ini nga mga bond, okay, naga-keep sa imo nga hindi mag-ubra sang krimen. Okay? That's why yung title, yan mo na, Social Bond and Control Theories, because this is all about different social control, different social bonds nga ara sa society ta, nga nagapugong sa taho sa pag-ubra sang crime. Okay? Kay once nga wala ang ini nga mga control, wala ang ini nga mga bond, mangin kriminal ang isa katawo. Kay wala may mapugong sa iya nga mag-ubra sang krimen. Okay? Do we understand that? Naintindihan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? Sure? Class, kung wala na kaintindi,
Ma'am,
yes?
ma'am,
Yes,
pwede ma'am
Adeline.
na
Yes, Adeline? Hindi ko kaintindi ga. Ano ga?
ang inabla ma mag-explain kabla mamatasig ma'am kumayo kay chindi gawa.
Okay. Sige. Actually, this is recorded, so isenta man so that ma-re-ano nyo. Okay?
Thank you ma'am.
Okay, so sige. Okay, so under social bond, these are the different theories class nga aton nga iga-discuss. Okay? So containment, the social bond theory proper, and the Skies and Matz's techniques of neutralization or drift theory. Okay? So let us start with, sige, next na lang. Okay, let us start with our first lesson, the containment theory. Okay? Class, the title is Containment. Okay? Containment Theory. Intindihan ta na ang title. Okay? Magamba kita class, or when we use the word containment, okay, it came from the root word contain. Okay? Magamba kita contain, of course, it covers something. Diba? It covers or it carries something. That is what we call containment theory, or that is what we call containment theory. It covers or it carries something. Okay? So, munang buot silingon, magambal kita sang containment. Okay? Let us now proceed and let us understand kung paano gingamit ang containment sa ini nga theory. So, its proponent is Walter Reckless. Okay? So, he proposed the containment theory of delinquency and crime. So, he is the one that have proposed this. So, it is built on the same concept of internal and external control, which Reckless termed as inner and outer containment. So, the main concept with class ng ini nga theory is about inner and outer containment. Okay, what are these inner and outer containment? These are internal and external control within a person. Okay, so we will discuss that sa next nga mga slide. So it include factors that motivate youth to commit delinquent acts such as pushes and pulls towards delinquency. Okay, let us continue. The basic proposition in containment theory is that this inner and outer pushes and pull will produce delinquent behavior unless they are counter-reacted by inner and outer containment. Okay, anong hambal sa ini nga theory? The basic proposition, ang idea, okay, ang ginapropose nga rason sang ini nga theory why crime happen is this. Okay? Inner and outer pushes and pull. Okay? Inner and outer pushes and pull will produce or it will result into delinquent behavior. It will result into delinquent behavior unless they are counter-reacted by inner and outer containment. Anong buot silingon? Okay? Ang mga inner and outer nga pushes and pull nga ara sa palibot ako no, magaresulta gid ini nga ang isa ka taho mangin kriminal unless kung kontrahon ini, it will be counter-reacted, okay, by inner and outer containment. Let us learn in the next slide kung ano niyang mga ginatawag nga inner and outer pushes and pull nga nagatulod sa taho nga mangin kriminal, kag anong inigyang ginatawag nga inner and outer containment nga nagapugong sa isa ka taho nga mangin kriminal. So what are, okay, so this is usually what will happen. Okay. Inner and outer pushes and pull. Okay? What are these inner and outer pushes and pull? Okay? Magamba kita class inner, okay, within sa imo. Okay? Ang imo nga disiplina, ang imo nga pasensya, ang imo nga konsensya, those are all inner within sa imo. Okay? Magambal kita class outer, okay, outer sa palibot nimo. Ang imo nga pamilya, ang imo nga simbahan, imo religion, ang imo nga eskwelahan, mga outer na sila. Okay? Okay, so inner within you. Okay? Whether that is good or bad mo na da nga quality, those are all inner factors. Magamba kita outer ang sa palibot mo. Ang friends mo, ang simbahan, ang church, ang family mo, tanan nga ara sa palibot mo, whether that is bad or good, those are inner and outer. Okay? Ang muna ang bot silingon sang inner kag outer sa inita nga discussion. Okay? Ibutang na sa pinsar. Okay? Now, unahon ta ang inner and outer pushes and pull. Okay? Magambal kita inner and outer pushes and pulls, this refers to all negative nga mga negative influences, negative nga mga values, negative nga mga taho nga pwede nga ara sa palibot mo. Okay? For example, inner nga pushes kag inner pushes and pulls. Okay, inner ha sa imo, okay? For example, wala ka konsensya. For example, bastos imo batasan. Okay? For example, tamaran ka. Okay? For example, dasig ka ma-distract. For example, wala ka gapamati. Those are all inner pushes and pulls nga makita mismo sa imo nga mga malain nga pamatasan. Okay? Magambal kita outer pushes and pull. Okay? This refers naman niya sa mga negatibo nga ara sa palibot mo. For example, ang ginikanan mo wala ka nila gintunan. Okay? Ang imo nga eskwelahan, hindi mayo nga impluwensya sa imo. Kaya eskwelahan mo, the teachers that you have, makasala lang gamay ang student, ginatagaan sang grabe nga penalty. Okay? Or ang church mo, ang pagpati is lain. Okay? Ang pagpati is negative. Ang mga friends nga may ara ka, okay? They involve into criminality, they involve into drug addiction. Those are example of inner and outer pushes and pulls. Okay? Now, if you have all of these inner and outer pushes and pulls sa palibot mo, that will result into what? In your own understanding. Kung may amuna sa palibot mo, may amuna within you, that will result into what?
Criminality, ma'am.
Very good, okay? It will result into criminality or being delinquent. Okay? Or it will result into delinquent behavior. Okay? Class delinquency is usually associated sa mga young nga mga criminals. Okay? Usually tawag sa ilang actions delinquent behavior. But another meaning for that is of course committing crime, criminality, antisocial behavior. Amo na sila, isa lang na sila. Okay? Now, hambal ni containment theory, pwede ini ma-stop. Okay? Pwede ini ma-stop. What can stop this? Inner and outer containment. Do not be confused ha. Kay base kakita ka mo di inner kag outer diri, ang paminsaron nyo man diri sa dalom, parehas lang. Okay? Gin-explain ko na kung ano ang ara sa babaw ha, nga inner and pushes and pull ha. Basta magambal kita pushes and pull, negative ina. Okay? Area ang containment, positive. Okay? What can stop kuno criminality or delinquent behavior? Hambal ni containment theory, inner and outer containment. Miso no magambal ka inner containment. Ano ganyan magambal kita inner kagina sa explanation ko? When we say inner, it refers to what?
In your own bala mga batasan bala or in your own.
Okay, that is correct. Your own qualities, your own pamatasan. Okay, correct. How about outer? Okay, that is correct. Your own qualities.
In your surrounding bala mga surrounding mo sa paligid.
Okay. The external factors around you, ang ara sa palibot nimo, those are outer containment. Okay? Now, example of inner containment, you have discipline. Okay? You have these good values. Pisan ka, tutom ka. Okay? You are very focused. Mga inner containment na. Okay? Those good qualities nga may ara ka. What are outer containment? Okay? For example, you're always going to church, ang church yung ginakatuan mo, positive ang values yung ginatudlo. Ang nanay kag tatay mo, halin sang gamay ka, ginpadako ka sang maayo. Okay? Gituduan ka sang mayo nga mga values, mga mayong pamatasan. Ang friends nga may ara ka, puraw tanan mga highest honor. Okay? Those are inner and outer containment that can stop or can contradict all of these inner and outer pushes and pulls. So that is the idea with containment theory. Okay? So from this example class, what can you conclude? Diba? We can say nga kung bakod ang inner and outer containment sang isa ka taho, anong matabo?
Nang ma'am maka-produce ang tao na balam nga may ara nga good nga values balam ma'am.
Okay, meaning this, yes, correct. Meaning this person will be law abiding, okay? Conforming. What if naman niya? Okay, we can say, according to containment theory, nga kung ang inner and outer containment ng isa ka tawo weak, it will produce what?
Delinquent, ma'am. Delinquent person.
Delinquency, very good, or criminality. So that is the idea with containment theory. Okay? Class, you might see the common dire nga ginagamit is young individual because mostly of these studies class sa Chicago School, because this is a study under Chicago School, and mostly sa ini nga mga studies sa sociological and criminology is conducted on young individual, okay? Sa mga delinquents, okay? So that is why mostly of them ginagamit ang term nga young individual. But later on, nagamit naman lang siya sa mga adult because it can be applicable as well. So, young individual can be pushed towards delinquency by inner psychological impulses and drives such as discontentment and aggressiveness. And there are two types of environmental delinquency inducing factor. So pushes, we have been discussing this. Magamba kita pushes, the conditions which pressure the youth towards delinquency. Pushes class, it pressures. Okay, gina-pressure ya ang youth towards delinquency. Mostly pushes are negative gid. Poverty, deprivation, block opportunities, okay, wala gid pa eskwela, ginasakit sa ilang nga balay, okay, wala ginapakaon tadlong, mga pushes na. Okay? When we say naman niya pulls, these are positive inducement. Magamba kita positive inducement, hindi sila likely, hindi sila positive gid. Kung tan-awon lang sila, positive. Oy, may new friends ko, di ba? Positive. But, okay, later on, makit-an gali nga this supposedly positive nga factors, negative gali because this new set of friends are drug addicts, are criminal. Okay? So, magamba kita pulse, this refers to those factors nga kung tan-awon, though positive, but negative gali. Okay? Like for example, bad companions, gangs, and delinquent subcultures. Magamba kita delinquent subcultures, gangs man na. It refers to gangs. Okay? Do isa lang na sila. Okay? So these are pushes and pulls. Okay? Which may push a person into committing a crime. And what are inner and outer containment? So we have here, outer containment includes parental and school supervision, discipline, strong group cohesion, and consistent moral front. So you have there an example, diba? You have there a police officer, our laws, you have there a family, your friends, okay, good nga group of friends, the school, and the church, okay? And you have here as in your inner containment consists primarily of your conscience, strong conscience, and good self-concept. Okay? So when we say self-concept class in this aspect of self-concept is essentially formed by age 12. Okay? So according to containment theory, when they are doing this study, Walter Reckless was doing this study, he found out or he theorized nga ang self-concept sa isa ka tawo, it is already formed kuno by the age of 12. Okay, so meaning very crucial nga formative years ang halin sang pagbata sang bata hasta mag 12 years old. Kay dira gid kuno gina-develop ang maayo nga self-concept. Okay, magamba kita self-concept, how you view yourself, your self-esteem, your self-image, okay, how do you see yourself in the near future? So those are mga aspects ng self-concept, okay? So, Reckless believed that self-concept of a youth as either essentially a good kid with a strong conscience or a bad kid with a weak self-control is a product of socialization in the family. So ano ang rason? Hambal ni Ronald Aker nga may iban nga mga bata nga nagdako sang maayo kag na-develop ang ilang konsensya, nga may iba naman nga bata nga nag-involve into criminality or nangin bad kid kag may ara sang weak nga self-control. Kay hambal ni reckless class, it is because of their socialization sa ilang nga pamilya. Okay? So, that's why I have been telling you, di ba, nga pagbata pa lang, hasta pag 12 years old sang bata, ambal ni reckless, these are the formative years nga ma-form sang maayo ang self-concept, ang konsensya sang isa ka bata. Okay? So kung mayo ang pagpadako, mayo ang concept, mayo ang strong iya conscience, most likely the child will become a good person. Pero kung hindi gani, weak iya self-control, most likely the child will develop to be bad and later on become criminal. Okay? So is that clear? Naintindihan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
any questions? So let us take this another statement sa study ni Reckless. The assumption is that all youth in these areas face similar pushes and pulls towards delinquency and similar weak external controls in family and neighborhood. So they assumed na dayon class nga sa ginkandakan balasang study ni Akers. So gin-assume niya na nga tanan nga mga bata nga ara dira they face the same nga mga pushes kag pull nga mga negative nga ra sa palibot and same sila tanan nga weak ang ilang nga control sa family. Okay? According to containment theory, the good kid has developed an insulated self-concept with which to withstand the influences that lead other peers into delinquency. Kung isa ka bata kuno na develop sang maayo, strong ang iya self-concept, miski ano pa na da nga mga negative influences nga pwede siya itulod sang iya nga mga friends sang ara sa palibot ya into delinquency, hindi siya mangin kriminal. Okay? Such peers who become delinquent in the adolescent years have failed to develop a good self-concept. They have vulnerable or bad self-concept by which they succumb to the pushes and pulls of delinquency within the neighborhood. So, according class to Walter Reckless, hambal ni Reckless, kung isa ka bata na develop sang maayo ang iya self-concept, miski ano pa na nga negative influences nga ara sa palibot ya, hindi gid siya matulod into crime commission. Pero kung isa ka bata ang iya self-concept is weak or wala gid siya gani sa ginatawag nga self-concept, very vulnerable gid siya into crime commission. Okay. However, class, this study has criticism. Okay? So, di ba, we have discussed that there could be problems man sa mga theories na ginadiscuss natin. Okay? So, one problem with this is that the findings related only to the hypothesis that outer pushes and pulls pressuring youngsters towards delinquency can be controlled by inner containment. Okay? Sige, to explain this part na lang, easier. Ang one of the criticism class sa theory ni Reckless is that hindi tanan nga variables nga dapat istadiyon na study. Okay? Hindi tanan nga aspeto sang iya nga mga propositions naka-undergo sang study. Okay? Only the part nga outer pushes and pulls pressuring youngsters, okay, can be controlled by inner containment, amo lang class nga part ang na-study. So, hindi kita makasure to sa iban nga mga part, yung ipanghatag sa ato na Reckless. Like sa hambalya, nga, like for example, how about outer containment? Can outer containment control outer pushes and pulls? Okay? So, those are some criticism nga sa ini nga study ni Walter Reckless. Also, the research did not touch the other components of the theory. Outer pressures versus outer containment, inner pressures versus inner containment, or inner pressures versus outer containment. Ang ginfokusan lang gid yang hypothesis ni Reckless is that the outer pushes and pulls gin-compare ya or gintanaw ya if inner containment can control it. Pero wala ya gin-try. How about si outer pushes and pulls, tanawon tabi kung makontrol man ni outer containment. Okay? So those are some criticism, okay? Some other aspects nga dapat studihan, wala na studihan. Reckless and Associates provided no measures of the outer pushes and pulls towards delinquency. They simply assumed that since neighborhood areas had a high rate of juvenile arrest, the motivations towards delinquency had to be strong in that area. Wala man nila class gintanaw sa area nga ginstadihan nila kung ang ina nga area bala taas man gid bala ang mga negative influences nga ara dira. Gin-assume na lang na dayon nila because they saw nga ang crime rate taas sa ina nga lugar. Okay? Well, kung ang crime rate taas sa ina nga lugar, hindi man nabuot silingon nga ang mga negative influences dira taas man, di ba? So, another failure or another criticism that we can throw in this theory. The measures of self-concept included many items that could have been easily interpreted as simply asking about current delinquent status and behavior. So ang iya class nga mga questionnaires ni Reckless or especially about self-concept, hindi gid siya siling comprehensive, kag hindi gid siya siling it answers really the question about self-concept. Reckless findings, therefore, are partly tautological. They only show that delinquent behavior is related to delinquent behavior. So that's why it is called tautological because dugalibot-libot lang. Ang ila ginset mismo nga standard, do kumbaga gin-conclude na nila dayon nga may criminality sa ini nga lugar kay taas ang crime rate. Tapos gintakos na lang dayon nila, gin-confirm may criminality man gid. Do ginamo lang na nila. Do wala gid siya nag-undergo sang research, do wala gid nila gin test gid maayo ang ilang study. So that is the criticism nga ma-identify ta sa ini nga theory. Okay? So, before we proceed sa aton nga next nga theory which is neutralization or drift theory, we are open for questions regarding containment theory, especially sa ini nga part. Okay, sa mga important yang concept. Any questions? Okay, who can summarize to me ang thoughts ng containment theory? Who can explain to me the thought of containment theory? Who can explain how people commit crime according to containment theory? What are the reasons na nagakriminal ang tao?
Ano ma'am, ang tungod ano to ganing question na ma'am?
According to containment theory, what are the reasons why people commit crime?
Tungod sa ano ma'am? Tungod sa ano ma'am sa outer pulse.
What are
Ang
those?
sa palibot nila ma'am puro be negative.
Okay.
Basic downloads ko lang.
Okay. What do we call those? If you know the answer, you can turn on your mic and help Yanos. Okay, sige Yanos, continue.
Outer pulse to no?
Outer lang, wala inner?
Outer and inner containment, ma'am.
Hindi, ano po nga ng question mo?
Again,
Why
my
commit
question
crime?
is, what are the reasons why people commit crime according to containment theory?
Tungod sa ano ma'am, sa mga... Sige, Adeline. Pick pa.
Okay, sige. Who knows the answer?
Ikaw din yan na ba?
Sige, let me rephrase my question.
Let me rephrase my question.
Okay. Wait lang ha. Okay, let me
Ma'am,
rephrase my question.
Wait lang ha. Let me rephrase my question.
Okay, so it's this, di ba, we are discussing about social bond and social control theories. Okay? What is the main goal gani sa hindi nga mga theories? To answer the what question? Social bond and
Gasunod
control theories. Okay? It answers what?
nang gasabat sa question nga ang mga tao gasunod sa mga laws or ginapatupad sa society, ma'am.
Okay, Okay, very good, Antonio. Okay, sige. Antonio, let me ask you ha, sunod. Okay. Now, specific kita sa containment theory. Okay? Antonio, under containment theory, ano ang na-identify mo nga rason nga ang tao nagasunod sa rules and regulation? What are those
Ma'am,
things? Yes?
ang inner and outer containment, ma'am.
Okay, very
Bale,
good. Okay, continue. Sige.
Bale, for example, ma'am, ang inner ng containment, ma'am, for example, may ara ka disiplina, nami ang values nga nahatag, ang ara si mo nga natun-an. Tapos, while naman ang outer containment, ma'am, is ang mga influensya si mo mayo, ma'am, for example, yung family, nami ang pagpadako si mo, ang teaching sang school, sang imo nga church, nami. Positive.
Okay.
Amon sa ma'am.
Very good. Okay, sige. Now, okay, ikaw man siya po ng Tonyo ha, okay? Now, you take this inner, you said nga the reason why people follow rules and regulation are inner and outer containment, right? You take this inner and outer containment, or let's say it is weak or it is absent gid sa tao. It is absent gid sa tao, okay? What do you think will happen?
Nang makommit sila sa ma'am ng crime or acts nga labag sa norms or sa mga laws, ma'am, nga ginahatag ng state.
Okay. Very good. Okay? So with that class, we can learn nga that is the reason why people commit crime according to containment theory. Okay? So that is how simple it is, and with the sa giplastar ko nga question and answer na Monica Baliero, I hope class you are able to identify or to realize nga ay okay, amula ni gali ka simple ang containment theory kag ang mga ginatawag nga social control theories. Ginahambal nila sa aton kung ano ang mga ga-control sa pamatasan sang taho sa society kag kung kwaon mo gali ang ini nga mga ga-control ang taho dako ang posibilidad nga mag-ubra sang krimen. Okay? So I hope you were able to reflect on that. Okay? So that is containment theory. Now, sige, before we end with containment theory, which do you think ang mas dapat nga ipa-strong naton? Inner or outer containment?
Inner containment, ma'am.
Okay, inner containment. Okay, how about the others?
Both,
Inner,
ma'am.
ma'am. Inner.
Ang iban daw wala gid ga answer o ga hipos lang sang ila ga wala gid ga on sang ila nga mic to answer. Tapos ma-on lang sang mic nga kanta pa buot silingon wala ga pamati. Kanugon lang gid bala sing inyo nga load kung hindi ka mo mamati. Okay, so what do you think ang mas dapat nga tagaan naton sang priority? Inner or outer containment?
Inner containment, ma'am.
Okay. The correct answer, okay, all of you answer the correct answer. Inner containment. Because most of the time, we don't have any control. Paul, okay. We don't have any control with the external factors nga sa palibot. Okay? Of course, we can choose our friends. But sometimes we cannot choose our family. Sometimes we cannot choose our family gidigali. We cannot choose sometimes kung diin ka nga religion, di ba? Especially kung bata ka pa because it's our parents kaya butanda sa aton or school na kung saan diin ka. Okay, but with our inner containment, it is something mas makontrol natin, mas ma-develop natin on our own. So it is really important nga we develop it, okay? So that is containment theory. Now, let us go to Skies and Matsa's technique of neutralization or drift theory. Kanya nag-amo na tani. Wala pa to dyan kakadto sa isa. Sige na lang. Okay. So, Skies and Matsa's technique of neutralization or drift theory. Okay? So, its title really, class, is drift theory. But later on, because of the use of word neutralization, which is present tira because of the techniques of neutralization, because of the use of this word, that's why nga later on, gintawag na lang siya techniques of neutralization. Okay, but its original title is drift theory. Okay? So, David Matza and Gresham Sykes are the proponent of this theory. So, Gresham Sykes and David Matza proposed a theory in 1957 that explained delinquent behavior as a result of adolescent using techniques of neutralization. These techniques are justifications and excuses for committing delinquent acts, which are essentially inappropriate extensions of commonly accepted rationalizations found in the general culture. Okay? So, Gresham Sykes and David Matza, sila ang nag-propose ng ininga theory in the year 1957. Okay? So, mostly it is focused on looking at, or its main proponent why people commit crime is hambal sa ininga theory is that it is because of techniques of neutralization. Ang muning rason, ang bal nila nga duwa, nga ang taho nagaobra sang krimen. Ang mga ginatawag nga techniques of neutralization. Okay? So ano ang ini nga mga techniques? These are justifications and excuses. Okay? For committing delinquent acts. Both silingon, mga rason, mga justification, nga naga-support nga ang taho mag-ubra sa krimen. For example, ay nagin-ubra ko to kay pigado ko. Ay gin-ubra ko to kay kinanglanon gid, wala ko gasto para sa tuition sang bata ko. Okay? Ay ginobra ko to kay siya man mismo. Okay? Siya man mismo nang una sa akon sunog-sunlog. Okay? Gin-rape ko to sa kay siya man pero may siga pa siksila bay sa balay. Those are justifications and excuses na pwede gamiton sang taho for them to commit the delinquent acts, which are essentially inappropriate extensions of commonly accepted rationalization found in general culture. Okay? So sometimes hindi siya ma-identify as totally nga inappropriate. Okay? Because there are some certain parts nga pwede ma-accept as appropriate justifications. Okay? These interpretations of Sykes and Matza's came about principally because Matza later incorporated neutralization ideas into his drift theory of delinquency. So, why is it gitawag siya drift theory? Okay, nga gitawag siya nga drift theory. Class, again, I would like to remind you, in order for you to understand these theories well, okay, inshindihon mo ang mga titles because it will lead you into answering kung ano ang ina nga theory about. For example, magambal, differential association. Sa title pa lang, class, ay okay, associating with other people. People commit crime because they communicate, they interact with other people. We call that association. And with that interaction, gaka-learn sila sang krimen. Ay, okay, si differential association, people commit crime because they learn it through communication and interaction. They learn the different definitions. So that is an example of how you can understand the title and it will lead you into answering what the question is about. Okay? So why is it called drift theory? Drift theory proposes that the techniques of neutralization are ways in which adolescents get episodic release from conventional moral restraints. Okay? Mga dalom, right? Hambal ni drift theory class, may mga ginatawag kita nga techniques of neutralization o hold that thought techniques of neutralization. Siyempre, hindi mo pag-expect nga naintindihan mo na dayon. I-explain ko pa na further. Hulat danay ang ina-thought dira. Okay? Tagaan to na example. Okay. Pamaagi ko no sang ini nga mga techniques of neutralization, people get episodic release. Idugin release ka from conventional moral restraints. It allows you, okay, to break ang controls nga ara sa society ta. Okay? We have discussed a while ago sa containment theory nga may mga inner and outer control. Oh, imagine those inner and outer control nga because of this technique of neutralization, madula na siya or ma-weak na siya. Okay, that is the same as that. It is a periodic evasion of conventional morality which allows adolescents to drift into and out of delinquency. Okay? So that's why it's called drift theory. Because ang kakatabo kla sa mga taho ko no, because of this technique of neutralization, nagadrift. Okay, there are certain times nga nagapalayo sila sa delinquency, there are certain times nga nagapalapit sila sa delinquency, depende sa kung paano nila gingamit ang techniques of neutralization. Okay? So, now, okay, let us get into the idea again of techniques of neutralization. Okay? So, we have here this question. Okay? So, subong na discuss ta. Okay, we have this theory, techniques of neutralization or drift theory. Who are the proponents? David Matza and Gresham Sykes. Okay, what is the idea with this theory? Okay, why is it called drift? It's because it explains to us kung paano ang techniques of neutralization can drift the individual into delinquency or out of delinquency. Okay? Now, okay, in order for us nga maintindihan tagid ang ginatawag na techniques of neutralization, I have this question, okay? Answer this question. Have you ever been in a situation wherein you have to do something you know to be wrong but continued to do so because it is the right thing to do in the circumstance you are in? Ano sa Ilonggo? Kaagi ka na bala sa isa ka sitwasyon, okay? Nga maobra ka sa isa ka butang, nga kabalo ka sala, pero dapat mo obrahon because amo na ang insakto nga obrahon sa ina nga sitwasyon. Have you ever been in that situation?
Yes.
Araw lang maobra ka sa isa ka butang, pero kabalo kang ina nga butang sala. Galing, dapat mo gid siya obrahon kaysa ina nga sitwasyon, amo na ang insakto nga obrahon. One example, exam. Okay, super exam, ang ina nga exam with your very strict teacher nga kung hindi mo na mapasaran, ma-failure ka gid kaya mga una mo to nga exam nugbo-nugbo. Okay? Now your classmate, tupad mo pa ang inyo valedictorian, ang alam nyo nga alam mo nga classmate. And the super share siya sang iya nga answer. Okay? So in that certain situation, you are going to do something, di ba? Manunod ka sa iya, but you know nga ang pagpanunod mo sala, galing kung hindi ka manunod, ma-failure ka. So at that certain time, you think that that is the right thing to do. Ay kung hindi mo na pag-ubrahon, alangan masulit ka naman na sunod nga tuig, ara na ang grasya sa tubang mo. That is one example of that. Okay? Now, okay. You as well, if you have ever been in that situation, reflect. Okay? Reflect. Or any other examples nga may ara kada sa imong mind nga sa laang ginobra mo pero sa inangat nga tion amo nang insakto nga obrahon. Reflect on that situation. Okay? Now, reflect on your reason for committing such. Okay? Pag panunod mo to, ano ang rason mo gani nga aka manunod?
Para
Para
makapasar.
makapasar, ma'am.
Para
Para
makapasar.
makapasar.
Okay, correct. Okay. Now, with that reason, do you feel free from the guilt of the wrongdoing because of that reason? Kung paminsaron mo lang na, ay sala, totoo. Tigaling ano biyobrahon ko, be. Alangan masulit ko doon tuig, gara ng grasya sa tubang ko, si ma'am wala man gabantay. Okay? Now, with that reason, nga para makapasar ka, hindi ka na magsulit na tuig, super stricta pa na ang maestra mo, ang klase ka pa nga alam, ang gapasunod sa imo, siya pag-offer. Okay? Do you feel free from guilt? Minabatsagan ka nga guilt sa ginobra mo?
Yes, ma'am.
May ara, but
Wala,
do you
ma'am.
feel free from it? Because ang rason, do you feel free from it? Madumduman mo nga, ay kung ginsug, kung ginpadayon ko, akong wala ko to ginobra, hindi ko tani kapasar. Okay? Kung madumduman mo nga, sakto, malang itong obrahon ko. Sikta-sikta, padaan tinam, dasun tuig, basi hindi ko na ito matupad ng classmate ko ito nga alam. Di na wala na may mabulig sa akon, basi bala sa laid pa nga seksyon ng ibutang sa akon nga klase. So because of those reasons, class, it frees you from the guilt nga supposedly mapugong sa imo sa pag-ubra sa pagpanunod. Right? And with that, using your reason that that is the right thing to do in such situation, even if it is wrong, to free you from the guilt, we call that technique of neutralization. Okay? Ang ginobra mo to class, atong rason nga gingamit mo, that is technique, an example of technique of neutralization. Okay? And that is why it is called neutralization. It is why it is called technique of neutralization. Because what is the meaning of neutralization? Neutralization is the action of stopping something to have an effect. Because of that reason, ang guilt nga nabatsyagan mo, na-neutralize. Wala na sang epekto sa imo. Okay? What is being neutralized in this theory in the aspect of criminality is this. Okay, now class, think. Ang example to, gamay lang to. Right? Ang rason nga nagpa-neutralize, nagpadula sang guilt mo, it's because gusto mo lang makapasar, hindi ka na magsulit sina nasuntuig. Imagine people, class, nga naga-commit sang dako nga krimen. Sa mga karumal-dumal dira nga mga krimen like murder, robbery, rape. Okay? They could have different techniques or they could have used unknowingly, okay? Because ang mga criminal siguro class, mostly of the criminals, wala maniga studies ang ini nga mga theories. Okay? So unconsciously, they neutralize. Okay? They neutralize this guilt nga may ara sila in order for them to commit the crime para makuha nila ang ilang gusto. Okay? One very common example, pigado kami, wala ko may maobra. Okay? Amuna nangawat ko. What is the technique nga gingamit? Or what is the reason nga nagpa-neutralize? Ang kapigadohon. Okay? Another example. Okay? Di kay luyag-luyagid ko sa iya. Tapos permi pa siya gapa-sexy. Galabay siya permi sa tubang ko. Okay? That is what is used nga madula ang guilt to commit rape. Okay? And with those justifications, it neutralizes, ginapadula iya ang guilt mo. That is why the person tend to commit the crime. Okay? Because class, according to neutralization theory, techniques of neutralization or drift theory, since this is also a social control theory, under ni sa social control, ano nga ba sa ini nga theory? Diba? Tanan kita nga mga taho, may mga control sa palibot naton nga nagalid sa aton nga mag-ubra sang insyakto, mag-follow sa law. So ano ang iya nga explanation ni technique of neutralization or drift theory kung nga ang tao nagakommit sang crime? Ang explanation niya is this. Hambalya, may mga techniques kita nga ginagamit para madula, okay? Ang aton nga konsensya, ang aton nga bind sa ina nga mga controls so that mag-ubra ta ang krimen. Okay? Now the question is, okay, what are these different techniques of neutralization? Ano mga techniques of neutralization nga may ara kita? Okay, para mas, wait lang yung class, para mas clear siya, isa-isahon na siya. Yung department ko. Animation. Please pay attention. This is very important. May kapo to kayo ng inis pagit baladay. May kapo ito kayo ng inis. Oo. Sige, thank you. Ang imo niya, meron ka to kap? Kaya ng inis, meron ko to isa. Ay, gamit niya. At imo niya, meron daw. Pada. Okay. Sige, pamati ha. Okay. Now, these are, I have been mentioning, halin kagina, anong mga different na techniques nga may ara which may neutralize the feeling of guilt nga may ara sa aton. Okay? Nag-cite ko kagina different examples, di ba? Paresto para makapasar, ano pang ikaduwa nga example, kapigaduhon, di ba? So class, subong ang ini nga mga techniques to class, ang ato nga mga reason, gin-group na sila class into 5. We have 5 techniques of neutralization. Number 1, denial of responsibility. Okay? Propose that he or she is a victim of circumstance and that he or she is pushed or pulled into situation beyond his or her control. Okay, ano? Denial of responsibility ang una nga technique of neutralization. Paano ang denial of responsibility? Okay? Ginagamit ni isang kriminal, okay? Or the criminal reflects on this or propose this explanation nga siya, okay? He or she is a victim man. Okay, ako gani biktima man ko sang natabo. Natulod lang ko to. Okay? Or hindi ko to yahungod. That is the kung sa aton pa, denial of responsibility, very common example, kung maghambal, hindi ko to yahungod. Okay? That is denial of responsibility. Ako man biktima sang natabo. Okay, for example, with the quiz to kagina, okay, with the exam to kagina nga example ko. Your reason is that gusto mo makapasar, hindi mo gusto magsulit pa because strict tagid si ma'am. Okay? And ara na mismo. Okay? Ga-offer ng classmate mo nga alam-alam sang answer. So, I am only pushed by this situation. Okay? And wala na ko sang iban pang option kaysa magsulit ko dason. So that is denial of responsibility. Hindi ko tuya sala, wala na gid ko ya choice. Denial of responsibility na. Once a person use this technique sa pag-commit sang crime, mabatian mong ini nga rason, tawag ta na denial of responsibility. Okay? Next one. Denial of the victim. What is denial of the victim? Views the act as not being wrong, that the victim deserves the injury, or that there is no real victim. The common na ginagamit nga term, they had it coming. Okay. Hindi yun si denial of the victim, ha? Okay. Kung ang kriminal, ang ginagamit niya nga technique para madula ang guilt niya kag obrahon niya ang krimen is pamaagi sa pagpanumdom sini. Okay? Ang ginobra ko ya or ang pag-obrahon ko, hindi niya sala. Okay? Ang biktima, deserve ito, ang injury. Kalain na siya nga taho, lain na batasan. Okay? For example, class, I have seen this news. Okay? Sa news, gin-interview ang duwa kakawatan. Gipamangkot sila. Mangkot sila. Nga aka mo nang awat to sa Korean, know how. Okay? Ang sabat sa duwa kakawatan, tiyaman sa laser kay bili niya bukas ang pertahan. Sila na ang nangawat, ginbasol pa nila ang biktima. You call that denial of the victim. Kung wala ito sir ginbuksan ang pertahan, wala kami tani sir na tintar nga magsulod. Okay? They had it coming. Ano bakit they had it coming? Kabalo na sila nga matabo na sa ila. Dapat ka na-expect na nila kay ginpabayaan nila nga bukas ang ila nga pertahan. Denial of the victim. Diba? Grabe nga pagpaminsa, grabe nga pag-neutralize. Okay? Kung ikaw ya nga taho, you are very law-abiding, miski bukas mo na daya ang pertahan niya, hindi mo na pagsudlon. Okay? But there are people, class, nga because of their circumstance in life, okay, their inner and outer containment is not that developed, they can easily be vulnerable to these techniques of neutralization. Okay? So again, denial of the victim, daw ang biktima pa ang may sala. Okay? Another example, nga amo to ginrape si Grace. Okay? Thank you, Bidaya. Wow. Nga amo to ginrape si Grace. Okay? Ang rason sang kriminal, di kay shaman bi. Kada gabi na lang galabay dahil sa tubang namon, kabalo na lang sa nga ilinom. Kami, puro kami tanan lalaki, pa sexy pa sa lipot iya short, naka-tube pa siya. Crop top pa yabayo. That is denial of the victim. Or by saying, wala ko to siya ginrape na namian pa sa gani. Denial of the victim na. Okay? When a criminal use this kind of reasons, denial of the victim ina. Okay? Naintindihan ang denial of the victim.
Yes, ma'am. Parang victim provocation, ma'am, na.
The victim provocation. Ginagamit niya ang victim provocation as reason. Next, denial of the injury. Okay? Supposes that his or her acts really do not cause any harm or that the victim can afford the loss or damage. Anong ginahambal sa kriminal? Nanumdum sa. Okay? Nami, niguro kawatan si Mr. Lopez ay, or si Mr. Ayala. Okay? Nami, niguro kawatan si Mr. Ayala ay. Hindi yaman na mabatsaga, naging kawatan lang sa guro 500. Pila, malang na sa iya, ginapangaboy lang na ganit guro kay bilyonaryo man ni siya. Okay? Ara mo kay nadakpan. Okay, anong rason niya sa pulis pagdakop sa iya? Di, sir, ang 500, sir, sinsilyo malang na sa ila, sir. Okay, ginapanghaboy lang na gani guro nila. So, that is an example of denial of injury. You deny nga may nakos ka nga loss sa ina nga person. Okay? That is denial of injury. Or that's why, kaya yaman lang to, 500 lang gina. Okay? Denial of an injury. It's like asking the question, why is everyone making a big deal about it? Manggaranon man na sila, they have money. Yung nga dapat ikaw dakpon. Ang 500 sinsilyo mo lang na sa ila. Hindi kayo dapat pagdakpon. Denial of the injury. Okay? So, important class nga kabalo ka mag-identify. Tanawon mo gid, ano ang ginapunto sang kriminal? Okay? Ang kapabayaan sang biktima o kung ang nakosya nga injury. Another example, ato nga injury sa pagpangawat, loss, nadulaan kwarta. Another example of injury is, let's say, nasumbagan. Okay? Pero black eye lang, wala man silingan na napilas dira or nagisi. Pagdakop sa iya, sir nga ay kayo dakpon si raw. Black eye lang gito, kagamay-gamay sa to. Saman to nang una. But ang focus ya class is on the injury, on the black eye. Okay, so we call that denial of injury. Kung ang focus ya is sa biktima, nga ginabasol ya ang biktima, we call that denial of the victim. Okay, so again, para mas ma-identify, magambal siya gani, black eye lang gito, gamay-gamay sa to, denial of the injury ina. Okay, magambal siya, tiya man to sir, sala, sir, siya man naguna garit-garit, denial of the victim na. Okay? Next, we have fourth, Condemnation of the condemners. Okay. Magkambal kita condemnation, ginapakanubo, ginapakalain ta ang isa ka tawo. Magkambal kita condemners, ang taho nga nagapakanubo or ang taho nga nagapakalain. Okay, let us understand. Condemners are seen as hypocrites. Okay, mga hypocrites kuno ang mga condemners. Sagay mga keg pero sila man mismo damo sang sala or reacting out of personal spite, thus they shift the blame to others, being able to repress the feeling that their acts are wrong. Okay. You have this common term, they probably did worse during their day. Class, remember or can you reflect on those times kasi mama kag si papa nyo kung kigan ka mo nga ay nga agabti ka nagapuli. Okay, gabti ka nagapuli upod no pamigo mo. Di ka mo halin. Kigan ka. Okay? Sa pinsar mo or there iban nga gasabat sila ginikanan masabat nga ikaw gani nay sobra ka pa kuno ang ni lula kaagahon kapag hindi ka puli. Si nanay mo supposedly is the condemner, right? Your mother is the condemner. Ginakigan ka nga agab ka nagpuli. Pero nung ginobra mo, you condemn the condemner. Ginambalan mo si nanay mo, ikaw gani nay kaagahon kapag hindi ka puli. Condemnation of the condemner. Okay? Paano ito na ma-example sa crime? Let's say, nadakpan ka sa pulis, dakop ka na, o kawatan ka. Okay? These are your Miranda rights. Okay? Ginpusasan ka na da and everything. Sambahamba mo sa pulis, nga ba, dosisin o ka parang magdakop sa kon. Okay? Gapangutong ka gani. Ikaw gani mismo dang protektor sang drug lord na sinyo lugar. Ang pulis nga nagdakop sa imo, gin-condemn mo. Okay? So, that is condemnation of the condemners. Okay? But since we are using this as a cause, it could be that you have reflected upon that before committing the crime. Nakapanumdum ka. Kung baan mong kutuot kay mga pulis nga madakop sa akon, pero sila gani, mga pulis gani, kapangawat man. Tiyo, kailan ni mga awat kuya? You condemn the condemners. Okay? Like another example. Diba na example, kita kagina sang panunod, walga exam. Okay? So kung nadakpan ka sa maestra mo, ay ikaw, kapanunod ka ha? Okay? Failure ka gid sakon. Ginsabat mo bing maestra mo. Ikaw gani, ma'am, late ka pero may wala akong pag explain mayo. Basahon mo lang gani, tagaan mo lang kami the notes. Your teacher na dapat ma-condemn sa imo, the condemner, gin-condemn mo. Okay? So it's like, it's okay for you to violate the law because sila man mismo nga nagapatuman sang law, they are the ones nga hindi man sila perfect. May mga negative man sila. So you use that against them. And we have the last, appeal to higher loyalties. The rules of society often take a backseat to the demands and loyalty to important others. Okay? Class, appeal to higher loyalty, that is when you use, okay, a certain important thing nga ara sa imong life. Like for example, sa pagpanunod. Okay? Ang reason mo nga aka na push nga manunod, nadula na neutralize ang imong guilt, it's because your parents, okay, you love them and you wanted them to be proud nga makatapos ka kag hindi ka na magbalik. That is appeal to higher loyalties. Okay, sinanay tatay sa ako lang depende. Akong pinakamagulang dapat makatapos ko sini nga tuig para makapadayon ako nga manghod. Wala na choice, manunod na lang gid ko. Appeal to higher loyalties. Or when mga cult members, some of them, they use this idea nga gapamatay kami, kay may ara kami dayon sa place sa langit kung mamatay kami. Hambas ang ilang nga God, kung magpatay sila taho, may ara sila dayon na sang ilang nga kwarto sa langit. Okay? So that is appeal to higher loyalties. I did the killing because it is stated in our book, okay, holy book, our holy book, nga in order for us to have a seat, a room in heaven, we must kill people. Appeal to higher loyalties na. Okay? You use your religious belief, you use your this ang imo nga mga, yes, your religious belief, okay, your relationship with this organization as your reason why you have committed the crime. Okay? Or like for example, ang friend mo, okay, nga tigamatayon na, ang last niya nga ginayo sa imo, kuha ato ang akon nga no nung jewelry, say jewelry para may value. Nanumdo pa ko. Kuha ato ang akon nga diamond sa ila ni Rose. Okay? Kuha atong akon nga diamond sa ila ni Rose. Hindi ko gusto nga ara to sa iya. Gusto ko ihatag to sa imo. Amo na hambal sang friend mo. Dumapatay na sa class, 50-50 na sa. Okay? Lapit na lang yun siya mapatay. So wala ka na sang choice. Okay? But to give in sa iya because friend mo siya, dumapatay na siya as last request, naglakat ka sa balay ni Rose, kaginkawat mo to ang diamond. Kasi Rose hindi aman paghatag. Okay? So that is appeal to higher loyalties. You use important nga mga principles, you use important relationship, you use valuable things nga ara sa kabuhi mo as reason why you have committed the crime. Okay? So, when I say, for example, nga I committed the crime tungod pigado kami. Okay? Kinanglanon namon sang kwarta pangkaon. Diin mo na siya ma-identify. Denial of responsibility, denial of victim, injury, condemnation or of condemners, or appeal to higher loyalties. Identify. Yes, Adeline?
Appeal to higher loyalties, ma'am.
Ang hambal ko lang, ginubra ko ang crime, kay pigado kami, kinalano namon sang kalanon, okay?
Denial of
Denial of responsibility, ma'am.
Okay, the correct answer is denial of responsibility.
Yeah.
Okay, but later on, be, when I padayunan ko, when I say nga ginobra ko to ang crime, kay pigado kami, wala nakalanon ang mga bata, ko kinanglanon sa pagkaon, ako lagi ang ilang nga ginasaligan. That is what?
Appeal to higher loyalties, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Appeal to higher loyalties. Or when I say, be nga, it is okay for me to commit the crime because the government man gani mismo, they are the one nga nagakawat sang kwarta sang tao. Imagine ang PhilHealth, pila ka bilyon.
Condemnation of the condemners.
Very good. Condemnation of the condemners. Okay? Oo, gingguramos ko to siya, pero isa lang kabuhok ang nakuha.
Denial of injury, ma'am.
Denial of injury.
Okay. That is very good. That is correct. Those are the different techniques of neutralization. But class, it is not limited to that. You may reflect on that also on your daily lives. Ba, ginagamit nyo man ang ining mga techniques of neutralization. Okay? So again, what is the idea with this technique of neutralization? This is also a theory under social control theories. So meaning, it looks at the different controls nga may ara sa society ta which may stop people from committing crime, right? So meaning, si drift or techniques of neutralization believes na in our society, there are different controls that controls the actions of every individual. But why do people commit crime? Hambal ni techniques of neutralization or ni drift theory, it is because they neutralize it. Paano? Through techniques of neutralization. What do we mean when we say neutralize? Ginapastop mo ang controls, ang ina nga mga controls in the society sa imo. Ginapastop mo ang guilt. Okay? Ay, may mo nagaling nga pamaagi? Yes, it is through this 5 techniques nga na-identify nila. It could be you deny your responsibility, you deny the victim, the injury, You condemn the condemners, you hate them, or you appeal to higher loyalties. Okay? So I hope that is clear. Now, what are the criticism and the problem with this theory? Class, this is the problem with this theory. And I don't know if you will understand as you reflect sa mga pag-explain ko kagina, but hambal class ni Travis Hershey, okay? Di ba magamba kita neutralize, ginapa-stop ang guilt, okay? Hambal, this is the question na ginhatag ni Travis Hershey sa ini nga theory. Do delinquents neutralize law-violating behavior before or after they commit the act? Because that is the question that ma-realize mo man, ngay tuod, no? Saan o nila ginagamit ang denial of the victim? Before sila mag-ubra sa krimen? Or kung pamangkoto na sila sa pulis, amo na pagsabat nila. Okay? Kaya kung before sila mag-ubra sa krimen, then it is a cause of crime. Pwede ito siya gamiton as as a theory that explains to us the cause of crime. Pero kung after na nila yan na ubra ang krimen, kagingamit na lang ni nila nga rason, hindi na siya theory as to cause of crime. Right? Naintindihan? Ask yourself, okay? I know medyo, medyo complex, but amo ni siya okay, plus taronta. Class, kung ang isa ka kriminal, kung ang isa ka kriminal, gamito niya ni ang techniques of neutralization. Let's say, for example, denial of injury. Okay? San o ya ayan ginagamit? Bago ya obrahon ang krimen? O kung after ya obrahon ang krimen?
After.
Di ba that is the common thought naton? After, even I.
After.
When I studying, uli ko lang na-realize nila siya tuto pamangkot ni Travis Hershey. Okay? Because ang common tagin nga idea, no, after. Kaya usually, dira ka naman lang ginapamangkot mong, di ba? Nga mo ginubra ang krimen, tike pigado. Okay? But class, kung after yan na nigin gamit, hindi ta na siya mabaton as a cause of crime. Kaya tapos na natabo. Naintindihan? Naintindihan ang thought?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Kung after yun na nigin gamit ang ini nga mga rason, hindi na siya magamit as cause of crime, it's because tapos na natabo. So hambal ni Travis Hershey, dapat hibaloon gid ni Gresham Sykes kag ni David Matza kung saan o ni ginagamit sang kriminal ang techniques of neutralization. Before or after. Kaya kung after, kes na ni siya nga theory of crime. Kaya hindi na, di ba bakit a theory of crime? Ginatanaw naton ang cause ng krimen, hindi na siya magamit as rason nga ang cause ng krimen. Kaya tapos na natabo, ginimuan na lang yung sang rason ang iya nga aksyon. Pero once nga mahibaluan, okay, nga before sila mag-ubra sang krimen, napanumduman ni nila ang ini nga mga techniques, kag amo ni ang nagtulod sa ila sa pag-ubra sang krimen, then it is a cause of crime. Okay? So again, in order for techniques of neutralization nga mabatunan as a theory of crime, dapat mapamatud-an nga ang ini nga mga techniques ginreflect, okay, sang kriminal before siya mag-ubra sang krimen, kag amo ni ang nagtulod sa iya nga madula ang iya guilt to commit the crime. And therefore, it will be a cause. Okay? So I hope that one is clear, okay? So, class, before we end lang, let us touch, wala ko digil nila sa akon nga, let us touch another here. Here. Class, this is different examples as well are in your module. I hope you read that, man. I know these theories, class, to be honest with you all, ang inibala class ng mga theories, ang mga criminological theories, hindi pang kunika-inchindi sang una sang eskwela ko. Sa first year ko class, ang nadumduman ko lang gid classical, neoclassical, positivist, and the cartographic school because namiyan ko sa cartographic school ni Adolf Kitelet. Kasi lang ganun naintindihan ko. Even I-class, hindi ko nakaintindi sa una. It's because very technical sa mga term. Very dalom. It's about research. It's about study. So, is sinagaon, Angel. Angel, please off mo mic.
So, may gagawad mo, ma'am?
Okay. So, even I myself, class, it's quite hard good for me to understand this. But later on, so nagtuon ako, mas naintindihan ko siya. Especially when I review for the board exam. So I hope hindi ka mo maghulat, mag-review pa ka mo sa board exam. And one reason nga nanamian gid ko mag-study sang theories, it's because this theory is under Crim Socio. Okay? And you know, di ba, Crim Socio is one of the subjects sa board exam. And this subject class sa board exam, diri ko class nag-lowest when I took the board exam. Okay? Class, through God's grace, I would like to inspire you and share man with everyone. It was in 2016 when I took the board exam, and through God's grace, I was able to top the board exam. Okay, national, I was 5th placer. I am from La Carlota City College that time. So, and that is the very first langgid in 20 years. Ang Negros nakaproduce top notcher sa board exam at 1995 pa. Wala pa ako na bata. 1996 ko na bata. And then in 2016, after pila ka years, Negros was again able to produce a top notcher. And by God's grace, of course, He had given me the opportunity to be that person. Okay? And when I looked at ang result ko sa board exam, although nakatop ko, my lowest subject is in Crim Socio. I have only gotten 84 lang po. So that is the reason why when I was asked sa mga review centers kung anong paon ko nga subject to discuss, ginapili o gidpirmi ang Crim Socio because gusto ko mas madamo ang mahibaluan ko sa ini nga subject. Okay, gusto ko mas ma-develop ang akon nga ideas, knowledge in this subject. Okay, and I want to make theories easier for students to understand because it is quite hard. So, siguro I would what I can encourage you sa ina is that, but after that class, after nakatap ko sa 2016, nagsunod man ang HAMSI in 2018, nakapatop man sila, top 8. And then in the person of ni Sir Rigo Galvereyas, and in 2019 nakapa-top 3 ang BCC, Bago City College, in the person of Rose something like yung ngalan, nalipat ko siya pangalan, but police na subong si Rose. So I do hope nga ang next nga top notcher man natin will be from CPSU. Okay, so and siguro one lesson that we can learn from that experience is that I myself find it very hard nga magtuon sang theories while I was back in first year. Okay? But it had not stopped me nga magtuon while I was reviewing, and I was able to top the board. And you as well. I know it's quite hard, medyo budlay subong mag-insyente, and not only with theories, with your other subjects. But just continue, okay? With every step sa ginatake ninyo by simply studying sa mga quizzes, sa mga recitation, class, you are already building your future. Gina-build mo na class amat-amat into that goal. Okay? So, it does not mean nga kung hindi kita kaintindi, kung hindi kita kabalo, mango na kita, wala na kita sang pag-asa. Okay? So, ang difference lang gid class is kapisan. Okay? Tuon lang gid. Okay? So before we end sa ating nga lesson, let us discuss this one theory. This is the social bond theory proper. Diba tatlo to kagi nang i-discuss ta? Containment, what else? Containment, neutralization, and this one, social bond. So what is social bond? Social bond theory class is, its proponent is Travis Hershey. Okay? Visible lang, kitanan lang ang screen. Travis Hershey. Okay, wala ko siya nabutang gali sa tawag ni sa PowerPoint. Plus imagine na ni bala, mang teacher nyo, maobra PowerPoint, maplastar amo sini, makabaka explain, and then kung hindi ka man lang mamati, di ba kanugol lang sang effort, but wala gina waste ang effort ni teacher. Ikaw ya ang nag-waste mismo. Sang imo nga chance. Okay, so kitanan lang ang akon nga screen.
Ma'am.
Amo ni siya, mama?
Social bond theory. Social bond theory. Okay,
Kung
nakabuta.
wala man, ma'am, dulain man ni ma'am.
Okay, nakabuta. Anong gagwa?
Do, ano ma'am, do paso, do
Rationalization. Criminal behavior.
criminal behavior, ma'am.
Okay, lang stop ko danay. Okay, how about this one? Ara na? Ara na?
Proponent.
Yes, ma'am, aran, ma'am.
Okay, okay mo na ni siya.
Sa
Thank you. Okay. So class, we have here Travis Hershey as the proponent. So the title of this theory is social bond. Okay? So sa ikatatlo nga goal naton nga i-discuss subong. So under social control theories. Okay? But the title of this theory class is social bond gidya. This is social bond proper. Okay? So the earlier control theories were superseded by the version proposed by Travis Hershey, who remains today the major control theories. Class, ang gin-discuss na to nga containment, nga neutralization, ang nalapawan na sila tanan sang social bond theories. That's why gani, aside from calling it social control theories, gintawag man sa social bond. It's because of the effects ng ini nga theory. Okay? Sa tanan nga social control theories. Okay? Nalapawan na to si containment, nalapawan na to si drift theory or techniques of neutralization. And that made Travis Hershey, hindi Travis Scott ha, it made Travis Hershey the major control theories. Okay? His control theory is usually referred to as the social bonding theory. Okay, another term for that, social bonding. Hershey's theory has become what most criminologists today refer as control theory. It has come to occupy a central place in criminological theory. Okay? So what is the idea with this theory of Travis Hershey? Okay. Ay, hindi. Ano naman? Sige na lang. Okay. So, Hershey formulated a control theory. Okay. Class, these are the important points of the control theory of Travis Hershey. Okay? So he didn't attempt to explain why individual engage in criminal acts, but rather why individual choose to conform to conventional norms. Okay? So he presented 4 social bonds. These are attachment, containment, and involvement. Klase mo na ni ang pinaka-core ha nga idea sang social bond theory ni Travis Hershey. Okay? Hambal ni Travis Hershey, may 4 ka social bond sa aton nga society. Attachment, commitment, involvement, and belief. Okay? Again, attachment, commitment, involvement, and belief. Okay? So what is the purpose of this social bond to an individual? Ano ni mga purpose ini? It is to promote socialization and conformity. The stronger these 4 bonds, the least likely one would become delinquent. What silingon sa society ta ko no, kung strong ang ini nga mga bond, ang attachment, commitment, involvement, kag belief, okay? The person will more likely become a law-abiding person. But kung weak ini, okay, the person will become delinquent. Okay? Class, a technique para hapos ni sila matandaan, remember this as BICA. Belief, involvement, commitment, attachment. BICA. Okay? So, the four social bond. Now, let us discuss ano ning four social bond, okay? So, again, the idea, very simple lang din. Hambal ni Travis Hershey, may four social bond sa society ta nga nag-stop sa tao sa pag-ubra sang crime. Amo na ang ginatawag nga bika, okay? Belief, involvement, commitment, attachment, okay? I-discuss ta una ang A, okay? Attachment refers to one's interest in other. Your interest to other people, or in short, your relationship to other people, your attachment to them. Okay? Maghambal ang migo mo maghambal ang miga mo. Okay? Hindi magano ha, hindi magampang ML ha. Kung bakod ang inyong relationship, sundon mo siya. Okay? Magambal ang migo mo. Hindi magwa nga nakalipot-lipot nga palda kag nakapagwa cleavage siya. If your attachment to that person is strong, most likely you are going to follow that person. Okay? Kasi may mga rason naman dito so ng mga miga, bala sa ila migo, ay hindi mo na ko palangga, nagambal to si ma'am sa attachment, sa social bond, na kung palangga mong isa katao, importante para sa imong inyong relasyon, sundon mo ang ginahambal ya. So kung naghambal siya nga, hindi pwede mag-ML, sundon mo gid na, hindi agad mag-ML. Kaya basi panggamiton, dabala sa iba now. Okay. Class attachment is our relationship, our interest with other people. For example, your attachment to your parents. You love your parents. You wanted them to be happy. That's why you are studying well. Okay? That is that's an example of social bond. Miski ano pa da nga panguhit, sang tupad mo da subong, while listening to this or while joining this class, miski no pa da nga panguhit, ngay, offline mo kamera, bala, hampang ta di bala. Okay, pangapi na to danay. Lagaw-lagaw ta di danay. But because you love your parents or very much attached to them, you do not give in to those temptation and panghagan. Okay? Social bond na. So how do we use that in crime? Okay? For example, because of your love to your family, hindi mo gid kaya nga magbinotig, magpiki sa mga dokumento kay nakulbaan ka bas imapriso ka, hindi mo na makita ang imo nga mga bata. Okay? One example na. Okay. Next, commitment. Okay, we go to the next one. Commitment. Ang letter C sa bika. Okay. Commitment, it involves time, energy, and effort placed on conventional lines of action. Okay? Commitment class refers to the time, energy, and effort nga gingbutang mo na sa isa ka butang. Okay? For example, you are very committed sa imo nga obra. Okay, grabe na nga time, energy, effort na ginhatag mo da. That's why hindi mo kaya nga magpiki sa mga dokumento because kanugon lang sang tanan nga mga sacrifices, sang time, energy, kag effort nga ginhatag mo. Okay? For example, you are a model student, halin sang una, pananaw nila sa imo, alam-alam, pisan, buot, honor student. Now, there is this friend of you na naghahambal, try bala marijuana, bala, okay? Para makachill ka man, kapoy na toon. But because of your commitment with your studies, your commitment sa reputation mo, sa image mo, you don't want to jeopardize it. Okay? Hindi mo gusto nga mag-put into waste the time, energy, and effort nga may ara ka. No, you don't commit crime. Okay? Next. Number 3. Class, you have your examples sa mga soft copies. Sige, send ko. You can read it, okay? The number 3 is involvement. Okay, the letter I in BCA. This address a preoccupation in activities which stress the conventional interest of society. Involvement, preoccupation in activities. For example, okay, ang friend mo nga ini nagambal simula katabala mga awat no dari manok para may pang takaron may pang panyapon takaron. Okay, but ikaw you are training as a basketball player, di ba? Involved ka sa inyong liga, get-train ka sa basketball player. So because of your involvement, mas importante sa imo yung magsagad ka sa basketball kaysa makapanyapon karon sa gabi kag mangawat to manok, you refuse nagabakay hindi lang ko ama pampang ko diya. Okay, because of your involvement, na-stop ka sa pag-ubra tani sang krimen. And we have the last, belief, mga pagpati. Hambal class ni Travis Hershey, isa pagid ini karason kung nga ang taho wala nagaobra sang krimen because may ara sila sang belief. Okay? Class, for example, your belief in the Ten Commandments as a Christian. Very devoted Christian ka, you believe in the Ten Commandments, so you are going to follow. Nakabutanda, thou shall not kill, thou shall not steal. That's why you cannot kill a person. You cannot make pangawat. Okay? You cannot make adultery, mga babae, mga lalaki, because you follow your belief according to the Bible nga it is wrong. Okay? So again, those are the four social bonds identified by Travis Hershey, which are the reason why people do not commit crime. Okay, from the example, saging state ta kagina, ngagin explain ta kagina. Can someone now explain to me kung ano ang rason ayhan nga makakumit ang taho sang crime by using the idea in this theory? Again, can someone explain to me kung ano ang rason ayhan nga ang isa ka taho makakumit sang crime by using the idea of this theory?
Ang ma'am, ang beliefs nila, ma'am. Ang pagpati, bala nila, bala mamaw sa isa ka bagay, bala mamaw.
Okay, Adeline, their beliefs, their pagpate. Some more. Blazing sa gin-explain ko kagina. Have you noticed kung paano ko ginagin plus star gin-explain nga? So meaning, kung si inner and outer containment, weak ang tao makumit sang crime. Diba? That is how I explained it. O, subong naman sa social bond. Sa bika, belief, involvement, commitment, attachment. Okay? Anong hambal ta? Hambal ni Travis Hershey, amo ni ang mga bond society naton nga nagastop sa taho sa pag-commit sang crime. Amo ni kuno ang mga nagastop sa taho sa pag-commit sang crime. Oh, can someone of you there give me a statement or explain to me using this theory? Ano ayhan ang pwede nga mangin rason nga makakumit ang taho sang crime using the social bond theory? Class, you just cite the opposites ang gin-explain ko bag-o lang.
Ma'am.
Yes, Antonio.
Nang kung ano ma'am ang tao makakommit ng crime ma'am kung ang four na mga social bond, ang attachment, commitment, kag involvement, kag belief ma'am is weak. Bla ma'am. So
Very
amo na
good.
ng
Okay, that is correct. Okay, very good. Okay? Yes, that is correct. The idea why people commit crime according to social bond, it's because weak ang ila nga belief, involvement, commitment, and attachment. Okay? Yes, okay, it is correct. So, class, this is an image here. Okay? You have your conforming behavior and ara sa lower part, criminal behavior. As you can see, you have there sa tunga-tunga ang four ka-social bond. Attachment, commitment, belief, involvement. Okay? You have there some examples sang attachment. Okay? Sang commitment, sang belief, sang involvement. Okay? Now, as you can see, there is a straight, solid line pakadto kay conforming behavior and these four. Anong buhat silingon? Kung strong ni sila, it will lead into conforming behavior. Will develop into conforming behavior. Pero as you can see naman diri sa dalong, broken lines which signifies weakness. Okay? Or absence. Okay? Broken line signifies weakness. But silingon, kung weak si attachment, weak si commitment, weak si belief, weak si involvement, it will produce criminal behavior. Very good. Okay, so ito ginambal ni Antonio. And a lot more complex pag dire sa dalog. Okay? An example. But what are its criticism? Okay, so this is our last topic today. Many other critics have faulted Hershey's work because he used too few questionnaire. Pag-conduct ako no sa study class, very few questionnaire items to measure social bond. He failed to describe the chain of events that result in an inadequate social bond. There was also a creation of artificial division of socialized versus unsocialized youths. Okay, so okay na. Okay, so that ends our discussion for today. We have discussed the social control or social bond theories. Okay? What are the three theories that we have discussed under social control and social bond theories? Can someone do the recap? Okay, Gayoba, do the recap. What are those three theories? Sige, discuss ta. Gayoba?
Sa batbed?
Gayoba? Natulugan na ni Guru si Gayoba ay. Okay, Dipalo. Dipalo? Okay, Carly? Tingson? Yes, what are those three theories again discussed na bago lang?
Social band, containment, and drift theory, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Okay. So those are the three theories that we have discussed. So class, the common lang gid nga idea with all these theories is that it explained why people follow the rules of the society. And kung mabalaan ta na ang rason kung nga ang taho naga-follow sa rules sang society, of course we will know nga kung madula ang ini nga mga rason nga naga-follow sila, it will result into criminality. Okay? Class, also with what happened earlier, I would like to address lang with what happened earlier. So that's why I'm asking you the question kung naintindihan nyo. So you answer, pamangkot ko sa inyo in a way nga, hoy, kaintindi ka mo, gamo ko na. Wala. I'm asking you nicely, right? Kapamangkot ko, have you understand the lesson? So I am expecting as well a polite and a respectful answer. Okay? And I know and I can understand my actions. I know that it is not intended nga magsabat gid up face to face gid or so bababatian ko gid nga amo sina. Okay, but I know nga hindi hungod because I doubt man if you will also be gabi ka na gid guro kapal nga maamo ka na subang sa maestra mo nga wala ma'am I know supposedly wala to na on ang mic but because of I think slow connection or whatever concern na on ang mic so I was able to hear it. Okay? Class, as a student, I myself also have criticized and have negative feedbacks on my teacher man and I cannot blame you if you feel that way as well with our discussion or what dira. But I think it is important na you do realize and you do recognize that your teachers also are experiencing challenges and are doing their best to explain the lesson to you in a way that you will understand even if naka-online siya. So I hope that even if you might have all these negative na mga thoughts, ideas, or emotions towards your teacher or towards your subject, I think it is important that you would recognize how they are making the effort to help you as well and to deliver the lesson to you well. Okay? So, and of course, let us always remember to respect each other. Okay? Because, and class, I do not really mind it. I do not take it personally, but I would like lang yun to address, okay, that certain situation because it really calls for attention because there is some disrespect nga natabo, right? So I would like lang to call your attention regarding that and of course to correct you man. Okay? And if you are doing that, if you do not respect the people around you, plus you are not actually hurting other people. you are not hurting that person nga wala mo gina-respect. You are instead hurting yourself. Okay? Let us always remember na student pa lang kita. We are here to learn. We are here to study. And ang mga teachers they have already undergone ang training and again the studies that you have also undergone. They have even a lot of qualifications in order nga mabutang da sila sa kung diin man sila. So give them respect if you want as well na in the future you will be respected man. Okay? So again, I would like, that is only to address what had happened earlier. I do understand that it's not intended man to say it, gid nga amo na, but it only happened nga naka-on ang mic without any idea and nahambal ato. Okay? So I think, I hope that may serve as a lesson to everyone na whenever you enter your online class, make it a mindset nga you are like entering man a class. Okay? Put limitations to your actions, put limitations to your words because you do not know what may happen. Okay? Kasi keyboard ka lang, wala gali na on ang mic, wala na gali na off ang mic. Wala na gali na off ang mic. Okay? So, again, that I hope that I think amo ginang lesson dira. As a student, mag-join ka mo online class, mag-join ka mo sa inyong, even if naka-virtual lang kita, make it a mindset nga masulod ka gid sa klase so that limitado imo actions, limitado man ang gagwa sa baba mo nga naka-focus lang gid sa klase. Okay? And if you are there, nga wala nagapamate, gid-on lang da ang mic, nag-join lang para may attendance, okay? Imo man na Japon nga loss. Naggusto ka lang sang data kay wala ka daga pamati. Okay? So imo man na Japon nga loss. Okay? So ang importante sa amon as teacher, we are doing our best to deliver and give you the lesson. So we have done our part. At the end of the day, every 15 and every 30, may sweldo kami nga class. Wala isang per day sa amon. Ginaobra yun namon ng amon nga obra. Okay? And you naman ikaw lang gid ang kaluluoy if you're not going to to give effort to your schooling sa imong studies. Imagine after 5 years, after 4 years, magkuha ka na board, panuwan sa ran kay wala ka na mati. Okay? So I hope we have learned a lot today and prepare for we will discuss per class next meeting labeling theory, and then after discussing labeling theory, it will be a very short discussion man lang. We will proceed na into our virtual quiz. Okay, the same method digin obrata last time. So again, you cannot make it as an excuse nga miss kinaunang iban sa akon miss ng sabat. Okay, class, again if nakatuon ka mayo, kabalo ka sang answer, pag plaster pa lang sang answer, makauna ka gid class sabat. Okay? So study well and we will have our quiz next meeting. Okay? Also, I'm going to post another quiz aside from virtual quiz. Ma-quiz man kita through Google Form. So isend ko lang na next week man. Okay? So next week is like quiz week gid. Okay? So do you have any questions before we end?
Ma'am,
Yes, Adeline.
ang question, ma'am, pila gyapon kabig 5 gyapon, ma'am. Ay 5.
Para dito sa last.
Paano
Yes.
na lang, ma'am, padamod.
Madala mo points. Okay?
Thank you, ma'am. Ay, mamangkad lang ko, ma'am, halin sa may, ma'am, ang klasiyon mo, ma'am. Sa
I didn't discuss the last week lang.
social
Anybody?
learning theories.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Some more questions?
Nami kitang Zoom.
More questions?
Nami kitang Zoom, ma'am, no? Klaro.
Klaro, mas klaro siya. Doon. Dili mas bugat, mas ano ko dako ko nung data nga makuha.
Oh, dako, ma'am. Dako ya dito kun siya, ma'am.
Amula na galing.
Nami sa ma'am kay maklaro di dyan ma'am.
Klaro gid, ma'am,
Di ba
kung
tutod?
mag-share screen ka, makita mo pa, ma'am, kung sino ang mga nag-open cam kag nag-ano, na open mic. Sa Google Meet hindi mo makita kung naka-share screen ka unless duwa ka account mo nga ra.
Nami pa
Dire
sa
pag
Zoom.
dire sa Zoom.
Nami pa sa Zoom kay may
Nami sa
amo-amo
Zoom.
sa Zoom.
Gani ma'am.
Kaso hakog sa ma'am, no?
Hakog si galing sa
Hakog
lod.
siya galing.
Alam may mga buboy-baboy na tayo
Diba?
mga.
Filter.
Uy, babo.
Magaling mo lang na hakog, but let us discuss it the son, okay? Kung Zoom kita or mag-google
Kami
meet
pagid
sa
sa
GC.
Zoom ma'am kay ma-record mo ma'am. Ay, pagid sa Zoom kay ma-record mo ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Yanos. Some more
Hindi
questions?
pwede.
Marikot ko wala sa music. Wala sa sound ba na?
Aman ma'am.
Okay, if there is none, sige, let us end this.